The House will come to order. The Pledge of Allegiance this morning will be led by Stephen Robbins, Dylan Gossaw, Heather Chrisman, Rebecca Malachik from Match Bluff High School in Denver.
Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Cole, please take the roll.
Representatives Becker, Buck, Buckner, Conti,
Do you guys want to take a picture?
Who? Sorry, so Conti is excused. Quorum. Court. Del Grosso. Door excused. Duran.
Here.
Everett.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Representative Everett. Absent. Exum. Fields. Fisher. Foote. Representative Foote. Garcia. Gardner. Representative Gardner. Gardner.
Absent.
Absent. Giroux. Janal. Hamner. Holbert. Hollinghorst. Humphrey. Joshi. Kagan. Representative Kagan is present. Representative Gardner is present. Kraft Tharp. Labuda. Landgraf. Representative Landgraf. Lawrence. Lebsock. Lee. May. Representative May. Representative Conti is present. May? What? May?
Absent.
Absent. McCann. McLaughlin. McNulty. Melton. Mitch Bush. Moreno. Murray. Navarro. Nordberg. Pabon. Peniston. Pedersen. Primavera. Priola. Rankin. Rosenthal. Ryden. Representative Ryden. Present. Sane. Representative Sane. Present. Salazar. Schaefer. Scott. Representative Scott. Scott. Absent. Singer. Is excused. Sonnenberg. Representative Scott is present. Sonnenberg is present. Representative May is excused. Stevens. Swam. I know. Swam. Absent. Zabo. Tyler. Vigil. Waller. Williams. Wilson. Wright. Young. Speaker Ferrandino. 61-3-1.
With 61 members present, 3 excused, and 1 absent, a quorum is present. Representative Rankin.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move the reading of the Journal for Tuesday, February 25th be dispensed with and that it be approved as corrected by the Chief Clerk.
You've heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The one aye has it. The motion is passed. Announcements and introductions. Representative McCann.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, I would encourage you to attend the lunch today that's being sponsored by the Colorado Health Institute. It's at noon in Senate Room 356, and it's about bending the health care cost curve, market-based solutions. So it should be a really interesting presentation on health care costs and how we address them. So that's noon today in room 356, Colorado Health Institute lunch.
Representative Holbert.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honored to serve with you, sir.
Same with you.
Members, today is Realtor Day at the Capitol. How many of you have realtors in your district? I bet we all do. Let's give a big round of applause for realtors in Colorado. They have a lunch today. The program begins at 11:30 a.m. and it will be held at the McNichols Building at Civic Center Park. The McNichols Building is located on Civic Center Park at the southeast corner of Colfax and Bannock. Approximately 200 realtors from across Colorado have come to the Capitol today for this event. Please join them today for lunch if you are available. 11:30 a.m. at the McNichols Building. Thank you.
Representative Lee.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to invite all of the representatives to attend a luncheon on Friday at noon in the basement to learn about community solar gardens. As you may be aware, community solar gardens give people an opportunity to buy their own solar panel and obtain renewable energy even if they are not part of a utility function. And I know Representative Scott will be there to learn more. Thank you.
Representative Sonnenberg.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, if you noticed today, we got those cool blue jacket guys back here. We're pleased to have with us today the state FFA officer team and their advisor, and they're here for the Ag Forum kickoff tomorrow and the FFA banquet tomorrow night. Please help me welcome the state FFA officer team.
Further announcements and introductions. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to welcome to the floor organization and people representing them that are sitting on the side here for Grassroots St. Vrain. It's an organization that helps parents and children understand what's happening relative to education at the state level. So welcome and thank you for being here.
Representative Tyler. No? Any further announcements or introductions? Seeing none, we will proceed to our next order of business. Third reading of bills, final passage. Members, please return to your desks. Mr. Kohler, please read the title to House Bill 1034.
House Bill 1034, Representative Williams, Senator John, concerning the creation of a wine packaging permit to allow certain alcohol beverage licensees to package wine produced by another wine manufacturer in connection with making appropriation.
Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move for the adoption of House Bill 1034 on third reading and final passage.
Seeing no discussion, the question for the House is the passage of House Bill 1034 on third reading and final passage. Mr. Kohler, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Members, remember there's no drinking while you're on the floor. Representatives Humphrey, McNulty, and Pedersen. Close the machine. With 61 aye votes, 0 no votes, 3 excused, and 1 absent, House Bill 1034 is passed. Co-sponsors. Close the machine. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of the House Bill 1082.
House Bill 1082, Representative Lee Alcenter, talk drop concerning requirement for written notice of cancellation of individual life insurance policies in connection with requiring written notice prior to lapse of individual life insurance policies.
Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move for the adoption of House Bill 1082 on third reading and final passage.
Seeing no discussion, the question for the House is the passage of House Bill 1082 on third reading and final passage. Mr. Kohler, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Close the machine. With 61 aye votes, 0 no votes, 3 excused, and 1 absent, House Bill 1082 is passed. Co-sponsors. Close the machine. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 1254.
House Bill 1254, Representative Labuda, Senator Balmer, concerning requirement to disclose fees charged by a unit owners association by a community association manager.
Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move for the adoption of House Bill 1254 on third reading and final passage.
Seeing no discussion, the question before the House is the passage of House Bill 1254 on third reading and final passage. Mr. Kohler, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative McNulty, Priola, Wilson, and Swam. Close the machine. With 53 aye votes, 8 no votes, 3 excused, and 1 absent, House Bill 1254 is passed. Co-sponsors. Close the machine. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of the House Bill 1191.
House Bill 1191, Representative Conti, Alcenter Senator King, concerning the creation of an emergency alert program to notify the public after a serious hit-and-run accident.
Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move for the adoption of House Bill 1191 on third reading and final passage.
Seeing no discussion, the question for the House is the passage of House Bill 1191 on third reading and final passage. Mr. Kohler, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representatives Holbert, Pabon, and Peniston. Close the machine. With 61 aye votes, 0 no votes, 3 excused, and 1 absent, House Bill 1191 is passed. Co-sponsors. Close the machine. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of the House Bill 1210.
House Bill 1210, Representative Jarrell, also Senator Roberts, concerning requirement that the state agency enter an intergovernmental agreement with the county to address wildland fires affecting certain state lands located within the county.
Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move for the adoption of House Bill 1210 on third reading and final passage.
Seeing no discussion, the question for the House is the passage of House Bill 1210 on third reading and final passage. Mr. Kohler, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Giroux, vote on your own bill. Close the machine. With 61 aye votes, 0 no votes, 3 excused, and 1 absent, House Bill 1210 is passed. Co-sponsors. Close the machine. Mr. Kohler, please read the title to House Bill 1188.
House Bill 1188, Representative Wright, also Senator Talk Drop, concerning revenue generated from the outdoor advertising program administered by the Department of Transportation.
Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move for the adoption of House Bill 1188 on third reading and final passage.
Seeing no discussion, the question for the House is the passage of House Bill 1188 on third reading and final passage. Mr. Kohler, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representatives Hamner, McNulty, and Pabon. Close the machine. With 61 aye votes, 0 no votes, 3 excused, and 1 absent, House Bill 1188 is passed. Co-sponsors. Close the machine. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that the House proceed out of order for consideration of Senate amendments to House bills.
Seeing no objection, the House will proceed out of order for consideration of Senate amendments to House bills. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of the House Bill 1074.
House Bill 1074, Representatives Court and Del Grosso, Senator Johnson, concerning payments to the nonprofit owner of a tax-exempt property may receive for reasonable expenses incurred without affecting the tax-exempt status of the property.
Mr. Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And members, I urge this body to stand up, fight for what's right and our rights in the House versus the Senate, and concur with Senate Amendment.
That's how you stand up for our rights? Please tell us what the useless body did.
All this is a date
Court.
change so that these nonprofits can use the benefit of this year.
Any further discussion? Okay, seeing none, the question for the House is to concur in Senate amendments to House Bill 1074. Mr. Kohler, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representatives Hollinghorst, Pabon, Peniston, and Priola. Close the machine. With 61 aye votes, 1 no votes, 3 excused, and 0 absent, the House concurs in Senate amendments to House Bill 1074. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move for the repassage of House Bill 1074 as amended.
Seeing no further discussion, the question before the House is the repassage of House Bill 1074 as amended. Mr. Kohler, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representatives Buckner, Exum, Gardner. Close the machine. With 63 aye votes, 0 no votes, 2 excused, and 0 absent, the House repasses House Bill 1074 as amended. Co-sponsors. Close the machine. We will now proceed to our next order of business, General Orders, second reading of bills. Representative Fisher.
Now resolve itself into a committee of the whole for consideration of general orders.
You've heard the motion. Seeing no objection, the House will resolve itself in the committee of the whole for consideration of general orders. Representative Fisher will take the chair.
The committee will come to order. With your unanimous consent, the bills will be read by title unless there's a request for reading a bill at length. Committee amendments will not be read unless requested, as they are printed in your bill folders or on your iPads. Floor amendments will be shown on the screen and on your iPads and will not be read unless requested. Bills will be laid over upon the motion of the Majority Leader, and the coat rule is relaxed. Mr. Kohler, would you please read the title to House Bill 1054?
House Bill 1054, Representative Peniston, Senator Talk concerning restricting access by minors to artificial tanning devices.
Perfect for both of us.
Representative Peniston.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I renew my motion to, I move House Bill 1054 as amended by the committee reports.
Please proceed. Representative Giroux.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I renew my, I move L006 and ask that it be displayed.
Okay, L006 is properly moved and displayed. Please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, you may remember from yesterday we were talking about Representative Peniston's bill regarding artificial tanning devices. The bill as it stands right now does not allow anyone under the age of 21, I believe? 18, I'm sorry. It does not allow anybody under the age of 18. I was confusing it with a smoking bill. Yeah, you're going to have to beat me up about that one. Anyway, it doesn't allow anybody under the age of 18 to use a tanning device. But the amendment that I'm offering says that if you are 16 or older, you can get, with your parental permission, you may use a tanning device. It's a difference of 2 years. I very much respect the intent of Representative Peniston's bill. I understand what she's trying to do. She is actually trying to save lives. We know that skin cancer is a real issue. I would never support children using a tanning device. I see this as a very small change in her bill, a very small amendment, and I very much appreciate Representative Peniston's patience with this. I ask for an aye vote on L006.
Representative Peniston.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And thank you, Representative Giroux. I appreciate the kind words, and there really is no malintent here on either side of this amendment. The problem with the amendment is that those of us that have been looking at the research for several years on this issue understand that parental consent does not really work. Here is from the American Journal of Public Health, really just published on February 13th of this year. This is their conclusion. 2 previous studies examining youth access laws, this is to tanning devices, found limited effectiveness in reducing indoor tanning. Their authors concluded that this limited effectiveness was likely caused by state policies permitting use with parental permission. The result may partly stem from parental modeling of and permissive attitudes toward indoor tanning, possibly the forging of parental signatures, and poor compliance. Now, that's compliance among the tanning salons. Compliance is an important component. I'm continuing to read from the American Journal of Public Health. Compliance is an important component to ensure the effectiveness of any law. Studies have found poor compliance by tanning facilities with youth access indoor tanning laws at the state and local levels. For example, in San Diego, California, only 43% of indoor tanning facilities were compliant with parental permission laws, and only 13% of facilities in North Carolina and 19% of facilities in Minnesota and Massachusetts were compliant. So parental permission, when added to a banning of minors in tanning salons, creates more of an atmosphere, an environment of non-compliance by tanning facilities, according to this study. I would ask for a no on this amendment.
Representative Giroux.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And Representative Peniston, I am not doubting your research. I'm really not doubting it. And I understand the intent of what you're trying to do, and those behind you that are proponents of this. I'm not doubting at all what your information shows. However, I do know what it's going to be like for us as a body. If we pass a bill at 18, I know what's going to happen within our communities, and I know there's going to be a backlash of parents. And the backlash is not going to be all about, I really want my child to tan. The backlash is going to be, I am a parent, I love my child, I think I know what's best for my child. And so that the amendment is really, it's not brought up because I doubt your information, because I don't doubt your information. I'm just trying to take a pragmatic midway step, a compromise with the bill, because I understand what you're trying to do. This is all for the good, but I think we need to just give parents a little bit of a breathing room on this one. If later on you decide if it shows as you are suggesting and we need to come back, I'm absolutely willing to have that conversation. But I think taking it to 18 right now is a bit hard for parents to swallow, and I'd really like to go with the amendment, give parents a little bit of a say. The age of 16, I think, is reasonable. We had a side conversation, Representative Peniston and I had a side conversation about how no one wants children using tanning devices. We just don't. Their skin is too fragile. But this is a halfway point, a pragmatic compromise, and I asked for an aye vote on L006.
Representative Peniston.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I think this is the last time I'll speak on the amendment. It's hard to compromise when you're talking life and death issues. It's hard to compromise when we know that the research tells us kids shouldn't be in tanning salons. I would like you to actually look at the amendment and understand that the amendment really does very little for those 16 and 17-year-olds, because the parent can go in and sign one parent permission slip, one consent form, and that's it for the whole rest of the time. For 2 years in the kid's life, this 16 or 17-year-old can go in and tan every day, unlimited, if that's what they want to do with this amendment. It doesn't ask parents to provide their permission each time their child wants to tan, so that they can keep some track over how many times their child is going in to tan. One time, they go in and sign a consent form, and from then on, that 16 or 17-year-old that has no clue of what this can mean for the rest of their lives can go in and tan. And we had testimony from people that are suffering with melanoma or survivors admitting the fact that there was no way their parent could have stopped them from doing what they did. So this allows the addiction of tanning. And it is addictive. Research tells us that it can be addictive. So 16 and 17-year-olds will have basically unlimited access to tanning through this amendment once their parent signs one consent form. I ask for a no on this amendment.
Representative Schaefer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, I wish you could have been in the hearing when we heard this bill. I'm asking for a no vote on this amendment. We had the Colorado dermatologists, the Colorado Medical Society, the Colorado pediatricians, all in there supporting the bill. But this amendment assumes that parents are informed about the dangers of tanning beds. We had many parents in the committee saying they had no idea how dangerous these tanning beds were. And if there's some little disclaimer somewhere on this form that they can sign, that doesn't mean they're going to know that their child will be very likely to develop melanoma. And do you know how much it's costing us in Colorado to treat melanoma? $1.3 billion. I think if parents knew the facts, they would not be supporting this amendment. They want to be informed. So I ask for a no on this amendment.
Representative Giroux.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, I ask for an aye vote on L006.
Is there any further discussion of Amendment L006? Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of Amendment L006. Oh, okay. A division has been requested. So a division has been requested. Will all those in the chamber not entitled to vote please be seated?
Stand with us.
If you're not entitled to vote, please be seated. Okay, the question before us is the adoption of Amendment L006. All those in favor of Amendment L006, please stand and remain standing in one place until the count is taken. Please be seated. All those opposed to Amendment L006, please stand and remain standing in one place until the count is taken. Amendment L006 is lost. To the bill, Representative Peniston.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, colleagues, for a good discussion. I think that's probably the real discussion of this bill. I would ask you very much to vote in favor. It is a life and death issue. I know there are still people that do not have the research and do not have the understanding of the issue to this point because it's fairly new in our world, to understand how really devastating using commercial tanning devices can be for certain of our young people. I would just mention that for people that still want that nice look for prom, and this wasn't mentioned yesterday, or if you're getting ready to go on a vacation, spray tanning is a safe and accessible alternative. It's a service that tanning salons provide so they can still keep some of that business. It's not quite the cash cow that the tanning devices are, but it definitely is a help, and young women like Representative Giroux and me who want to look pretty at prom can still look pretty at prom in a very safe way, and dermatologists say that that's the case. So I ask you to consider lives in the state of Colorado and vote for House Bill 1054.
Representative McNulty.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Representative Peniston, I appreciate your intent in this bill, and that's been discussed a lot during the debate on this. One of the challenges that you now have is it looks like this is shaping up to be a partisan disagreement. The bipartisan vote on this bill was on the amendment that was offered by Representative Giroux. And so rejecting that common ground, that bipartisan common ground that was offered that Republicans and Democrats supported is disheartening. Is disheartening in this time where so much discussion by Governor Hickenlooper is focused on trying to support bipartisanship here in the legislature, and from Speaker Ferrandino talking about bipartisanship here in the legislature, and to see the bipartisan common ground rejected by the Democratic majority is disheartening. And I know that had that amendment been adopted, and I shared this with you in committee, if it had been adopted then, I would have voted for the bill. And likewise, here on second reading, had that amendment been adopted, I would have voted for the bill. But right now, it appears that we have a bill that might simply be pushed through by the Democratic majority without the input and the bipartisan option that was in front of us, and I think that's unfortunate.
Is there any further discussion of House Bill 1054? Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of House Bill 1054. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, please say no. No. The ayes have it. House Bill 1054 is adopted. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move to lay over House Bill 1186 until tomorrow.
Seeing no objection, House Bill 1186 will be laid over as requested by the Majority Leader. Mr. Kohler, would you please read the title of House Bill 1108?
House Bill. House Bill 1108 by Representative Primavera, also Senator Talk Chop, concerning limits on co-payments made by a covered person for physical rehabilitation services.
Representative Primavera.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move House Bill 1108 and the Health Insurance and Environment Committee report.
To the Health Insurance and Environment report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The committee report was a strike below, and this was to accommodate a busy schedule that the health plans have right now. So we moved the effective date from January 2015 to January 2016, and I ask for an aye vote.
Representative Landgraf.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move Amendment L004 and ask that it be displayed.
Okay, Amendment L004 has been properly moved and is now displayed. Please proceed.
This amendment removes the words co-payments, co-insurance, and deductibles and substitutes co-payments, and it also strikes 20%. So it removes the, I guess, the amount of the co-insurance.
Representative Primavera.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I appreciate Representative Landgraf bringing this forward. We had quite a discussion about this in committee. Again, this is another amendment that we wanted to adopt to help with some of the objections that the health plans had. So this is a friendly amendment, and I ask for an aye vote.
Representative Stevens.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I rise in support of Amendment L004. I do believe it to be a friendly amendment, and I really do think that within this amendment, the patient would pay for a primary care physician visit and no greater, and I think that's very important as we look at rehab providers, and so I rise in support of this amendment.
Is there any further discussion of the amendment? Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of Amendment L004. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Amendment L004 is adopted. Representative Primavera.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So basically, the bill is the committee report with the amendment, and I was asked to run this this past summer by my physical therapist, who is having trouble keeping his doors open because of the high cost of the co-payments for his patients. So basically what this bill does is it limits the co-payments by a patient for physical rehab services to no greater than that of a primary care physician visit, and it it makes it clearer for consumers as to what their physical rehab benefit is, and I ask for an aye vote.
Representative Swam, just to make sure that we're all clear, we're still on the committee report, so the vote coming up is on the committee report. Did you want to speak to the committee report, Representative Swam? Okay. So is there any further discussion of the Health Insurance and Environment report? Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of the Health Insurance and Environment Committee report. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, please say no. The committee report is adopted. Representative Swam.
Members, I appreciate, of course, the intent of this bill. I think we all want to see people cured of illnesses and taken care of appropriately. However, the vehicle for doing that is health insurance. People cannot afford to pay for medical care, in most cases, out of pocket. They need to have health insurance. And if health insurance becomes unaffordable for people, they will simply drop it. And I know that under the Affordable Care Act, under Obamacare, there's a mandate that people have to buy it. Nonetheless, if they can't afford it, they won't buy it. And I think there's pretty good evidence that that's happening. And what this bill does, despite its good intentions, is raise the cost of health insurance. And it has the most adverse impact in that regard on the plans that should be the more affordable plans. Under the health insurance marketplace that we've set up here in the state, Connect for Health Colorado, it's the silver and bronze plans that will be most adversely affected by this bill. So it's going to raise costs for those plans that are supposed to be most affordable. The people who are most likely to purchase those more affordable plans are young people. And we all know that we've heard this over and over and over again, that for this grand experiment to work, we've got to have the young invincibles involved in getting health insurance. If they can't afford to do it, this whole program is like a house of cards that'll just come down. And this bill will drive up the cost, particularly on those plans. So for that's one reason why I am opposed to this bill. I don't care how you try to skin this cat and how many times you tell us that this is actually going to save money. I don't believe it, because I've been down here 8 years. I've heard bills like this over and over and over again, forcing health plans to put in various mandates, and I've never seen the cost of health insurance come down. Matter of fact, I was just talking to a former member of this body this morning, former Representative Dan Gibbs, who now is a county commissioner in Summit County. He's down here specifically today because in Summit County, they pay some of the highest health insurance premiums in the entire nation. And it's not only Summit County, it's some of those other mountain counties up there. They're the highest premiums in the nation, and they want an answer. And this is not going to help that situation. In fact, it won't, far from help, it'll make it worse. One other point, I think, that's problematic with this bill. It puts primary care physicians basically in the same position, and we've heard this from Representative Primavera, puts them in the same position as acupuncturists, physical therapists, chiropractors, and what's the other category? Massage therapists. Well, members, I've actually seen an acupuncturist. You know, I don't have anything against them. I've seen a physical therapist. In fact, my daughter, this is kind of a, well, I won't talk about that, but I'm not going there. But anyway, you know, these caregivers, I think, can be helpful. But I think to put them on the same level as a primary care physician is simply inappropriate. So, members, I urge a no vote on this bill. It was certainly came out of committee, and it was not easy to get this bill out of committee. And I just urge you, especially those of you who represent those mountain communities where health insurance premiums are already completely unaffordable. As a matter of fact, former Representative Gibbs told me this morning, people, because health insurance premiums are so high in the mountains, people are being forced to sell their houses and move to other locations out of those communities. And this, again, this bill will not help. So I urge a no vote on House Bill 1108. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Representative Joshi.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. I rise in opposition of House Bill 1108. One of the issue I have is the inclusion of so many other categories here together with physical therapists. For example, they have chiropractor, acupuncturist, or massage therapist. These are even not covered by the insurance companies, as we heard in the committee hearing. So putting them and lump summing them together with physical therapists, this will definitely increase the cost of the insurance, because if the insurance companies have to start to cover all these, of course our insurance rates will go up too. Then again, the language says during the office visit. Actually, CPT has very clear definition of office visits that the physicians provide. So I don't think this is going to work very well, other than just increasing the cost of the insurance and putting together categories which don't even match. So I urge a no vote.
Is there any further discussion of House Bill 1108? Representative Primavera.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, I respect Representative Swam and Representative Joshi's views on this bill. There's a lot of things that go into raising the cost of health care. It's been estimated that about 1% of covered members use these kinds of services, so I can't imagine that this would really raise the cost of health care. Preventive services also lower the cost of health care, and that's a lot of times what physical rehab does. They get you back into good shape. So I think this is a good bill. It's a good bill for access to health care. It's a good bill for small businesses. It's a good bill for rural Colorado. And I ask for an aye vote.
Is there any further discussion of House Bill 1108? Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of House Bill 1108. Is there, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, please say no. House Bill 1108 is adopted. Mr. Kohler, would you please read the title to House Bill 1040, Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move the committee rise and report.
Okay. Committee, you've heard the motion. Is there any objection? Seeing no objection, the committee will rise and report.
The House will come back to order. Mr. Kohler, please read the report of the Committee of the Whole.
Mr. Speaker, your Committee of the Whole begs leave to report under consideration of following attached bills being second reading thereof makes following recommendations thereon. House Bills 1054 amended, 1108 amended. Passed on second reading or gross placed on the counter for third and final passage.
That's not in order. Representative Fisher. There are no amendments. Mr. Kohler, please open the machine, and members, please proceed to vote on adoption of the report of the Committee of the Whole. Not so easy. Representatives Becker, Landgraf, Lawrence, Priola, Waller, and Swam. Close the machine with 49 aye votes, 14 who don't believe we did what we did, 2 excused, and 0 absent. Good point. The report of the committee whole is adopted. Announcements and introductions. Seriously, no announcements and introductions? Of course. We do this same time, same place, same order. Not same time, same order. Okay, same place. Representative Sonnenberg.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And members, if you remember, there was a Colorado oil and gas seminar in which we had an opportunity to learn what the new development process and those things we're doing with local governments. That was canceled. That has been rescheduled for tomorrow morning. That's tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m. at the Casey office. That's 1600 Broadway, Suite 1000. That's a local government designee seminar to learn more about the local government's role in oil and gas development process. I would encourage you to try and make that, as the last one got canceled because of the weather. Thank you.
Representative Duran.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Joint Budget Committee will meet at 10:15.
Representative Singer.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The House Local Government Committee will be meeting at 1:30 to hear Senate Bill 183 and Senate Bill 106. Look forward to seeing you at 1:30.
Representative Wilson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, they have not yet arrived. They're probably a couple minutes late because of the snow, but we have 4 groups of 25 fifth graders from Avery Parson Elementary in Buena Vista, Colorado, with their teacher, Adam St. John, that will be in the gallery and around the building today. So if you bump into the students from Avery Parsons Elementary, please welcome them. Thank you.
Representative Bryden.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members of the State Veterans and Military Affairs Committee, we are meeting on adjournment today, and we'll meet at approximately 10:20. And we are hearing 3 bills: House Bill 1043 with Representative Stevens, Senate Bill 84 with Representatives Corum and Labuda, and House Bill 1206 with Representative Conti. See you soon.
Any further announcements or introductions? Seeing none, Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that the House stand in recess till 1 p.m. today, at which point we will adjourn until tomorrow morning at 9 a.m.
Seeing no objection, the House will stand in recess till 1 p.m. today.